patron goddess Kwan Yin. Before we do that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. Kwan Yin is the goddess of mercy and compassion. She is known as the friend of mankind. And her other titles are Mother Goddess, Guide, and Protector. The materials that the different statues are made out of is also symbolic. The statues that are made out of wood symbolize the flowing with life, the flow of life. And that Kwan Yin is teaching us to flow with life. The statues that are made out of marble represent permanence and solidity and strength. The ones that are made out of jade represent her virtues and her preciousness, the preciousness of her qualities. Porcelain represents innocence and her delicateness. Crystal represents spirituality. She's always depicted standing or floating on a large lotus petal, and often her head is turned as if she's listening, and that's to signify listening to the cries of the people. The earliest Kwan Yin statues were androgynous. They were depicted as a youth with a small mustache or beard. And if you look at her, she has that tiny little mustache, and we thought it was a mistake when we first looked at it. But since doing research, that's intentional. It's to signify her ability to be caring and compassionate, both male and female qualities. A 7th century Tibetan painting presents her as Avalokitesvara Kuan Yin with 1,000 arms, and that is to signify her scattering of the blessings, that she gives blessings constantly. And I'll explain more about Avalokitesvara and the 1,000 arms in just a minute. But nowadays she's not shown with all those arms. 2 arms are plenty, but she's often holding a vase or other items which are representative of her blessings that she's giving to people. The vase is called Amrita, and it's holding the dew of immortality. In her other hand, she's holding a willow branch with which she scatters the blessings down to the people. Sometimes she's holding a scroll or a book, which represents truth. And when she's holding the scroll or book, she usually has a jewel in the other hand that represents holiness. It's the jewel in the lotus. When she is depicted with children around her, it is in her aspect of Mother Goddess, and we are her children. She is protecting us and guiding us. And it's also representative of her role as Mother Nature. The placement of the hands is also important. When her hands are placed in her lap, that represents meditation. When they're palm to palm, not quite touching, that represents reverence for all beings. When the right hand rests on the left hand, palms upward, it signifies control over evil spirits. And when her hands are placed as in our statue with one up and one down, it's bringing heaven down to earth, and it's her blessing, bringing the blessings of heaven down to the earth and down to us. So where does the concept of Kwan Yin come from? The earliest writings are Indian sutras about Avalokitesvara. He was born from a ray of light that shone forth from the right eye of Amitabha Buddha. And Amitabha Buddha means unmeasured splendor or boundless light. When he was born, he was holding a lotus and uttering the words Om Mani Padme Hum, meaning Om, the jewel in the lotus. This is now a popular mantra, meaning the seed or the jewel of the divine dwells in the heart of all beings. This prayer has been said by all the Dalai Lamas since the beginning of Dalai Lamas. So this is a very powerful prayer. Whenever you pray it, you remember all the holy people that have prayed the same prayer. It gives it immeasurable power. Barbara Walker says in her book about sacred symbols that before creation, the Hindus said the world was a golden lotus named Matripadma, the mother lotus, the womb of nature. So the lotus actually signifies the one, the all there is, the creator, the creatress. She also described the lotus as a symbol of the four classic elements we identify with, that her roots are in the mud at the bottom of the water, her stem is supported by the water, and she is flexible. The stem is flexible, it flows with the water, with the emotion, reaches up to the sky and is kissed by the air. She breathes the air and she shines forth facing the sun. She's always reaching for the sun. And the spirit of the flower is the spirit of life. So it holds all five elements. The teachings about Avalokitesvara started in China in the 1st century and in Tibet in the 7th century. The Tibetans considered Avalokitesvara the earthly representation of the Buddha, who lived about 600 years before Christ, and the chief guardian of the Dharma, or the sacred doctrine. The Chinese were the ones that changed Avalokitesvara into a woman. She was androgynous before that time, both male and female. But the Chinese could not reconcile her feminine qualities of compassion and mercy with the male image. So over time, she was turned into a woman. And by the 7th century, she was referred to as the mother of 10 million Buddhas. The idea being that from the feminine qualities of purity and compassion and highest wisdom, the Buddhas are born. By the 11th century, there was no more males associated with this androgynous being. She was just female, except for her tiny little mustache. So the traditional story of Kwan Yin is that she was an ordinary human being who gave such love and compassion and service in her life that she reached the state of nirvana, the goal of the Indian people. And that just as she was about to cross into nirvana, she heard the cries of the earth, not just the people, but the insects and the flowers and the trees and the rocks and the animals all cried out that they were so sad that such a beautiful being was going to leave their presence. And when she heard their cries, she turned around immediately and came back. And her prayer was that she would have 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes with which to serve humanity. And that prayer was granted. So how does this relate to us? The Kwan Yin Sutra states, when self-nature is awakened and compassion is active, we are Kwan Yin. We are the incarnation of mercy and love. We are those eyes and those hands that are serving the people with love and compassion and mercy. The statues remind us of this. They speak to our spiritual selves. And the more that we can walk in the Spirit, the more we can be connected to other people and have empathy for their suffering and their pain and try to help them. The qualities of Kwan Yin are in all of us. They are in every being. In every corner of the world, she manifests in her countless forms. And in focusing on the divine, even if we are fixing our attention on a statue, we are reverencing the qualities of mercy and compassion. We will now awaken the statue. So, Eleanor, you weren't here when I explained this, but what we're going to do is each one has a number, and we're going to go in numerical order, and you're going to place your flowers at the base of the... Thank you. Okay. You ready?
We're on.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, this crown is awakened to open us to our own higher power. Number 2.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, these eyes are awakened that they may help us to see our path clearly.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, these lips are awakened that they may help us sing songs of joy.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, this heart is awakened to guide us in the ways of true love.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, this center is open to honor the energies above and below, Father Sky and Mother Earth, coming through our bodies, touching our souls.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, this womb is awakened to help us create a happy life of connection with others.
On behalf of the Great Mother Goddess, this yoni is awakened to show us the gateway of heaven.
behalf of the great Mother Goddess, these knees are awakened to teach us humility.
On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, these feet are awakened to guide us in the beauty way.
To earth, salt. This salt represents the element of earth. On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, I bless this element that those who come seeking help with physical ailments may be comforted and healed here.
This chalice represents the element of water. On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, I bless the element that those who come here looking for emotional balance and peace may find it here.
On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, this incense represents the element of air. On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, I bless this element that those who come may receive new ideas and make new beginnings here.
Fire.
Fire. This candle represents fire. On behalf of the great Mother Goddess, I light this candle. I dedicate this fire. And I bless this element so that those who come may renew their passion. Those who come seeking fulfillment may find what they are looking for in wholeness.
In the energy of the goddess, bringing in healing, joy, just shout it out, baby. Happiness, passion for life, spirit, new friends, happiness. love. Goddess forgiveness. Healing. Respect. Pussy power. Love. Joy. Imagination. Creativity. Happiness. Let's dance a little bit, ladies. Let's get some happiness in here. That's what I get. In the base that's closest to you. Okay, since it's warming up in here, we're going to go outside for the singing and dancing, the rest of the singing and dancing portion. And I'm going to pass out the song words. You can give me your cards. And the only change on the sound, the songs are, on We All, Ancient Mother, the second verse is the same as the first verse on the iPod music. So you don't need to change that last line. It stays the same as the first line. And on We All Come From the Goddess, the hoof and horn verse is not on the music that we're listening to, but if you know how to do the round, you're welcome to throw it in there. But it's not on the music. Okay?
You mean the Isis, Demeter, that one?
That's
Hecate.
hoof and horn, grain and corn, all that dies shall be reborn.